we just feel for this start of the campaign we want to start well. We certainly believe that the Six Nations is going to be about momentum, and we wanted to pick probably a rather experienced team to start the tournament.
There seems to be a bit of a public number 10 debate, as there has been for decades in Wales. What sort of part do you expect Sam Davies to play across the Six Nations as a whole?
Sam will play a huge part. He's already played a huge part. We've had 2 hit-outs, 15 against 15. He's been very competitive in training. We did it on Saturday morning, we did it on Tuesday afternoon. And I think that Sam has displayed his skills as he has done. In Dan, we've got a very experienced 10. Delivered in the autumn. Thought he played particularly well against South Africa, and both 10s along with Owen Williams, they'll be hugely competitive in that position. We all understand the great 10 debate, that's Wales, but from our perspective it's about picking a squad of 23, and those are the conversations, having spoken to a number of boys on the bench who missed out, but loose head prop, Rob Evans has been playing particularly well in a side that has done well in the Champions Cup, particularly against Toulon and Saracens and Ulster in the Pro 12. And we want that hungriness in terms of selection, and Rob is pushing Nicky. Nicky played particularly well, took his opportunity well in the autumn, and we feel that Nicky deserves to start.
And with Talupe Faletau, you've said expected to be fit or hope to be fit by next week. A bit of additional pressure, incentive, whatever you call it, for the back rowers in particular?
Yeah, we're comfortable with both. Obviously, Ross and James King is on the bench in terms of cover date. Although it's probably James's versatility in the back row, and obviously he can play in the second row if required. But Ross played well in the autumn at 8 when he was asked to do that. I know he's played well in the past at 6. So we've got a bit of flexibility and strength and depth in that back row, and it was obviously a tough selection. But we feel that the balance in the back row for the Italian game, obviously the Italian captain Favo is out as a 7. We got 2 7s in the back row effectively. So hopefully that might be a point of difference. 60 points tallies last twice out against Italy, especially with bonus points coming in to this season's championship. Do you think expectations will be high for Wales for this game? Look, have you seen the weather in Rome at the moment? It's changed dramatically over the last 24-48 hours. It's rain, which is forecast on Sunday. It's about going over there and starting the campaign. We've spoken as coaches and players. We need to start this tournament well. I'm just trying to think back to when we've started tournaments well and achieved momentum, and that's our goal of ours, is to start well, and I think that is a challenge. And I think when you look at the team in terms of experience, and Alun Wyn made a fantastic point to me on the way up. It puts pressure on those players who are selected, and it's all very well, you pick the experience, they have to go out and play. When you look at the squad that's been selected, or the side that's starting, I think across the board they've got about a 70% winning ratio in the Six Nations. They know what winning looks like, smells like in the Six Nations, and that's a challenge on Sunday.
Alan, how different is it for you personally starting the championship as captain?
Hopefully not too different, to be honest with you. If it was, I probably shouldn't be captain. I said in the launch, I'm a player and performer first, as in the job on the park. The captaincy was obviously adds to that. Hopefully there's a bit of experience that I can lean on that I've had in the past that can help other people. And that's pretty much it. Obviously I've got to come and speak to you guys, a few more faces, but other than that, not much difference. And
from your past experience of Rome, do you expect it to be a slog for at least the first hour?
Yeah, I think all things considered, I'm fortunate or unfortunate enough to have the experience to be out there and lose. So I know both sides of the coin, if you like. Hence, I said to Rob about the pressure is on the team that's been selected to back that up, to go out there and perform. Performance comes before a win or a loss. You know, we'll see what our performance is like, and we'll tell you whether it was good enough then.
Rob, the 2 15-15 games you talk about, were they to help with selection, or was that a way of building up fitness to get to test match standard?
Bit of both, really. Obviously, over the weekend as well, obviously some players went back to their respective English clubs, so they were given the opportunity on Tuesday afternoon. I think in terms of it was a good opportunity, Nick, in terms of the unstructure of the game at the moment, in terms of the number of kicks in the game, obviously in terms of the shape that you know, we needed to work on that, and that was the learning from the autumn, and hopefully the opportunity maybe not afforded to us next week with a 6-day turnaround in England. So the last 2 weeks, you know, we've been putting certainly foundation and blocks in place, so hopefully the fundamentals are there for the next couple of weeks for the next 2 games. So a bit of both, if that makes sense.
18-minute game.
No, Nigel Owens couldn't run for 80. He was tired Saturday morning, so it was about 50 minutes, you know, give and take. So in terms of looking at the average ball in play time over the period in the Six Nations, obviously weather dictates that. You know, it's important that with Sunday in mind, that you know, the tempo and the accuracy and the execution is what we focused on in preparation.
Rob, how much more well-drilled do you think Italy will be under Conor O'Shea?
Yeah, and Mike Cat and Brendan Venter, yeah, very much so. I think that you know, their organisation, and when you look at, you know, the players they've got a fairly amount of experienced players throughout that team. You know, not to mention obviously Sergei as captain and the number of caps. But I watched the Zebra Wasps game and the first 20 minutes of that game in particular. There's a lot of players in that team in the Italian side, and I think Zebra 13-3 up against the number 1 side in Premiership at the moment, I think. So that's their ability and their motivation and their attitude, and we'll have that in abundance on Sunday. So it's about getting our mindset right and making sure that we look after what we need to look after in preparation for the game.
Alun Wyn, I think you're the only player left from the team that lost in Rome in 2007. What do you take from that, and how do you avoid that happening? Do you draw on that at all?
Yeah, score more points than Italy.
So I mean, was that a case of underestimating Italy and a mistake you won't make again?
No, I think in hindsight, obviously if that was a point system back then, we would have taken the draw, and you know, the 2 points would have been potentially a massive difference going into the end. So these are probably the decisions that will potentially arise in the competition for teams. So you know, you probably take a draw with 2 points than a loss and get nothing. So you know, hopefully that we don't get to those circumstances, but we've got to be aware of that, the system that's in place, and like I say, the implications it could have later on in the tournament.
Eddie Jones has said England will be daring. If I gave each of you one word to describe Wales, what would it be?
Who first?
Rob first, then Alun.
Exciting.
Welsh.
Which means?
That's your interpretation, not my definition.
Welcome to his world.
Rob, are you surprised to see Campagnaro on the bench for them, and what do you make of their selection?
Look, I think from Conor's perspective, he's looked at the performance which they've achieved against South Africa. You know, it was a standout performance in the autumn, and you know, he's gone with a lot of players who performed. There's a lot of experience in there. They've obviously gone on some combinations and permutations in the back. So whether that's the case or not, only Conor knows that. So you know, it just shows the strength maybe of the section that Conor has to select from. It's probably a positive from their perspective.
Well, did you give much thought to the notion of potentially pairing Sam Davis with Bigger at 10 and 12 in the way that England have done with Ford and Farrell, either for this game or for the future?
No.
None.
No.
not even part of your thinking for down the track?
Not at all. I think that in a 12 in Scott Williams, he is a ball player at 12. He's got the ability to play, obviously, into the wide channels. So I think that I'm not saying that Dan or Sam can't do that, because I know Dan has not started for 12 for the Ospreys. I'm not too sure if Sam hasn't. I don't think Sam has either. So in terms of, if they went down that road within the Ospreys playing, week in, week out, I know Owen has played that for Saracens over a period of time. So I think, in the international game, you have to experience it playing for your club, and certainly Owen has done that. I believe he has anyway.
Final question, please. Okay, we'll leave it there. Thank you very much.
Cheers, guys.